Hey everyone, Alex and Gio from RaddTitan. We're here today looking at the classic Iron Man by XM Studios. Again, this is a piece that Gio picked up. This is going to be in his collection, so keep watching and we'll let you know what we think.
Boom.
Okay.
Yo, okay, so like Alex was saying, we're going to be running over the XM Studios classic Iron Man. This is actually the most recent piece I got in. We've been quite fortunate, me and Alex, that we have seen a lot of Iron Man in our collecting career. So, this one being, a more comic accurate one, I felt like this was the right Iron Man for me to finally get wet in, get involved. Because most of the other ones, as great as some of them are, majority of them are film-based ones, and I wasn't too impressed with the original comic yet. I saw it at Mike Wells' house.
I've never seen that one.
Seen it. It's pretty small.
I've always been very tempted with that one.
Yeah, it's one of them ones. It's quite museum-like looking.
Yeah.
But I saw it at Mike Wells' house, and it didn't really do much for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it personally, but it's bang on.
I think the exclusive ain't very good though. The unmasked head.
I don't know. I think if you're going to do it, you need the X because then he's got this sort of the flag, and then he has his other hand underneath that holds the helmet.
Okay.
So it actually really is it's like perfect. I think, in fairness, I think Mike's was the regular, so I think I would need to see the X. I think it's quite a big change.
I would like to see. I mean, it's one that's been on my radar for a little while, and one that
it's a nice piece. It's actually the Iron Man's quite small, but it goes up to like 30 inches. That's more of the issue. It goes up to around 30 inches, and the figure's only around about 17. So you've got like a big gap in between the figure and there's a big space above. But story for another time. I picked this up from my distributor, sorted me out, Mohammed Safik, so thanks very much, brother.
Reseller. He's a reseller.
Is he a reseller?
Yeah.
Oh, good, all right. Well, he sorted me out anyway. I got a really good price on it. Shipping was incredibly reasonable. It was a steal, to be brutally honest. So I knew I had to jump in and grab this. I think that we'll run through it top to bottom. So we start at the base. Now that it's all lit up, you can sort of see what's going on.
How does this go together? Because I can see
all right, so
sort of seams and things on there. But what I do, so first of all, while you're talking through, is I'll just give it a little 180.
All right, so the way that it comes is you have the base and this Ultron drone here, which is connected, all completely connected.
Okay.
And this arm is I think that's the leg actually that snapped at the ankle. That's all connected at the back to this part.
So that comes already fitted?
That comes already fitted. This arm comes off, and it's separate, goes in.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's there. That just like sits in there, and it's actually, again, typical XM, it's keyed, so it can only go in one way, so you better know which way you're doing, that's it. And then this is separate. Okay, and it keys in, it comes into the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
His feet, his bottom part of his torso are separate, and you place them on like so. Then you've got the top torso, the arms are both separate, and then the head.
Okay. And
you get an extra torso, and you get an extra head, and you get an art print, which I'll quickly before, because we have a tendency to forget.
Yes, we do.
So we'll bring this one out, which actually show you first, because
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's a pretty good one.
I really like that. That's nice. It's nice. Yeah, it's got the armour on that I prefer, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. It's really nice. Okay.
We've got the flames in the bottom corners.
Yeah, burn up.
Yeah, that's nice.
So onto this. I mean, I don't think, to be honest with you, these Ultron drones come off as well in photographs as they look in person, because I've heard a lot of people say they don't like it, but it's amazing. The base on this is amazing. I'm really happy with the Ultron, especially the way they're snapped up, busted up. You've got wires and things coming out of them, especially all out of the arm there. You've got all types of wires, all posable as well, so you can manipulate them how you want them to be. So you can move them around. All the copper wires exposed.
Was that an invite?
Not for you to do it, no. But that all happens. It means you've got one that's broken all the way across the chest, like literally split open across the... Actually, that's the back, so the head is completely twisted. That's the back of it, actually. That's the spine. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got this one, which is my favourite, where he's got the busted eye, and then all of the centre, all of the abdomen is all completely exposed, all the mechanics, everything's sort of torn open and ripped. It looks fantastic. I'm really happy with it.
There's quite a bit. The one, so just looking at it quickly, when you look at it here on the rock, there's a bit of like a join there, so there's a bit of a gap.
What are you talking about?
Where it sort of joins on the rock, kind of there.
Oh yeah,
underneath the rock.
Well, that's
just how you can see that the join goes all the way on there as well.
Yeah. No, but that's why it's kind of asking.
And actually this one as well.
Because even
there's big gaps in those rocks, like they've been planted, they've been put on.
Like
there.
that rock there looks like it. It goes on because there's the gaps and the way the gaps are. And again,
looks good.
Where this is here, that looks like that piece has been added on. Like in the box, so that's why I asked you because of the gap.
The funny thing is as well, this part of the Ultron's ear, the part there, that actually is connected as well, and that's like you'd think that's a highly breakable part. But
we spoke about that before.
With XM, you don't have these. Like if it happens, it'll be 1 in 1,000 that'll end up like that. It's because the majority.
Well, they only make 999.
Well, exactly. That's exactly my point. The great thing as well is that underneath his feet are all these rubber cushions so you don't scratch the base on both feet, which I thought was a really, really nice.
I thought you just had Cuban heels on.
No, well, they're a little bit hill like yeah, totally. He's not the biggest of characters, is he, Iron Man? I mean, I think that the way the contrast in the colours going up. I mean, I think Ultrons look great underneath a light because you don't quite get how vibrant they are from a lot of pictures, but you can quite clearly see that they're quite bright. They break up the base fantastic. My wife was like, why is there 2 of them? Why is there 2 Ultrons? How the fuck that happened? I said, you did read some comics, bitch. but I said, yes, it's in the comics, there's more than one. I didn't say any of the other stuff, of course.
No.
I think that the contrast going on to the figure now, I think the contrast between the silver and it's not, I wouldn't call this matte. A lot of people saying this is a matte gold. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it's a matte colour, but it's certainly not the cherry Ferrari red of the Iron Man.
No, it's not matte. No, it's got the. It's kind of got like the.
It's almost like a tin. It's like a tinnies type of look.
Yeah, because normally they do have a bit of a glitter.
I'd say silky. It's like a silk sort of a colour.
Yeah. Normally with a lot of the Iron Man pieces, they've got like a glitter inside them, so it kind of shines a bit more. This one is more. It's not flat. I'm trying to think of the right word.
It's in between.
It's somewhere in between. Yeah, as you say. I mean,
I would say it's satiny, almost like a satin, like paint. The way that they do that. But the thing that the thing to get over as well a lot of the time is you always find, personally, I always find that when Iron Man has battle damages, and they've done the battle damage exceptionally well, you can actually feel it on the sculpt. It's not just painted. There are scratches, there are dents, there are marks on it. But I always find that it's more of an excuse to go a bit wayward with your lines. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that this particular piece, actually this torso is my favourite torso, and I was really lucky because I think the lines on the classic torso are not as sharp. And I think that's because it's round. The classic torso is rounded, so the lines are harder to sort of get, because these are relatively straight. The black lines actually don't look too bad on this torso, and don't look bad on the boots or any of this.
The legs.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I mean?
I think the gold, I think, is you can see a bit where it kind of bleeds through, and a bit like if you look at that one there on the back, it's kind of gone over the line there. But it's just, I think it's the style of it as well, because I mean it's classic Iron Man, so it's kind of like.
It's hard. I think it's really difficult, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people like to do battle damaged. XM on the whole don't. Their stuff is clean, and that they make their life harder. I mean, the Hulkbuster, the Iron Man himself, is clean. There's nothing on it. It's all of the lines are spotless. But I do find that most battle damaged piece Iron Man do have a tendency to let them lines go a little bit wobbly in places. You know, certainly I think there probably bothers me the most. Just, I mean, it's so minor. It's just at the back of the thing there. I just don't think they're the sharpest of lines.
Well, I think, so I'm just a big dick, but that bit there's quite bad as well inside this fight.
Nah, that don't bother me as much as the back.
No.
That's okay, yeah, that's alright. I mean, the thing is with this is it's sort of almost a modernisation of the classic, because the classic was, the first one, is almost like like tights, gold tights that went down onto his boot, and they've sort of.
Well, it was actually like yellow.
No, it's pure yellow. But the way that the suit works is that you put the arm, the hands and stuff on, and the armour on, and then there would be like it went down his legs and covered at the boots, covered at this part, and it was like some form of like tights, but armoured tights. And they've sort of upgraded that with sort of doing a little bit of anatomy where you can see sort of the rectus femoris and there's the lateral, you know, the vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. It's all there to be seen, which I like. The same with like you look at the hamstring, the way that the hamstring's broken up as well. I think that they've tried to, they've modernised it ever so slightly, and I actually quite like that.
Yeah.
Some people may not. Some people may like just the muscularity and a pure gold finish.
Yeah.
I actually quite like the muscle. It breaks up the leg a little bit, which I kind of like.
What about, so do these light up as all?
No.
With the hands? Okay.
Which is quite interesting really, because if you look, I'll show you the arms because it's all magnetised, but if you look inside there, I don't know if you can see that with the light, but I don't know what that is, but it's an opaque sort of clear, like marble-like thing they've stuck in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really nice when it's up and it's got, you know, a little bit of light on it. It captures the light really well.
Oh yeah,
which is a really nice touch, and it's in both hands, even the hand that he's grabbing.
Because I think one of the critiques was with the Mark 7 was the.
Yeah, these are not nowhere
near.
No,
they're just white spots.
Yeah, they went. This is much better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's done much better. Magnets are super strong, by the way.
And does that come out? Does that come out there?
Yes.
Okay, because I remember them pulling it out.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't like light ups, so I'm using the.
Because what they got is so.
You have two.
I was looking at this the other week, and basically I wasn't sure if it was the prototype or if it was this, but you have the one that doesn't light up, that has all the detail. You can see like all the mechanics going on inside, and then you have the light up version, which is like there's not much going on in there because
actually
it lights up.
Actually, no.
Am I talking shit?
Actually, it's exactly the same internally. No. It's exactly the same. I thought it didn't, but it's exactly the same. The only difference is, which you'll see in the pictures, which we'll add to this review, but see, you can see through it.
Yeah,
you can see through the mechanics to where, behind the mechanics, to where it's clear.
Yeah.
There's just like a white sheet which lights up. So that's the only difference. All of around the sides, all of the metal parts and the inside, you can all see, but you just can't. It doesn't have as 3D, where you can see sort of behind all the mechanics going on.
You told me that.
I know. Well, you should listen to me because I know what the fuck I'm saying. I really like this torso, personally. I do actually agree, for once, with I think it's Anthony Cobb Lawrence or whatever. He's always quite funny, but I do actually agree that the double torso thing, you know, there is quite a notable difference between the two, right? There's a notable difference between the two, but especially on the back, because the back on this has got floods of details. You can see the spine and all the flaps and everything else, whereas the classic doesn't. It's a little bit more just like a human anatomy sort of body.
Yeah.
But I do agree that what I would have really thought would be a great idea is just a change in this arm.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So he's not got his arm out?
Yes. I personally think that the torso change is great. I like it. So it's basically like XM have modernised it, and they've gone, if you don't like how we've modernised it a little bit, you can use the classic comic book part. That's why it's there, and that's why it should be there.
Yeah.
The torso needs to be there. It's a great ad by XM. But I think if they'd have changed this arm to a downward arm, like a clenched fist arm, I think it drastically changes the pose.
Well, the thing with if you have that like on a human body, when he's got his arm up, you would obviously see the change in the chest. But because it's the Iron Man suit, you know, he's got his arm up, and his chest would look exactly the same.
Exactly.
That's quite a simple thing they could have done. Yeah.
I just think that
What about with hand on his hip?
You get two. Listen, you get two of a little teapot.
Yeah.
That one.
A teapot.
You get two heads. You get an unmasked as well, which a lot of people won't give you with an Iron Man as it is. You know what I mean? You get a mask, you get an unmasked, you get all of these add-on parts around the base, you get a change in the torso, and you get the print. There's no doubt about it. There's more than enough switch outs. It's typical XM, and it's top class. I'm just saying that as opposed to this, you could literally just switch the torso over, change the arm, and then have him arm sort of downwards, and it loses a little bit of that depth in the pose, you know. So you can have it a little bit more frontal, because that is ideally that's out, right?
Yeah.
I actually kind of like it like there, so head on, looking at it like that, side on, because there's so much going on here. So I think if you you know, if you wanted to do like a head-on pose, just change that arm, and I think it makes a big difference.
I think you're right. Normally, I haven't seen this head on there yet, but are the heads facing the same way?
They are, yeah.
Okay, because normally what XM do, a lot of the time, like with the Punisher, the Black Widow,
change slightly.
The heads are looking in a slightly different way, so it does add a lot of difference to the piece. I just want to go on to this side ahead if you're going to change.
Yeah, because we haven't done it.
I do. You can actually see inside, and you can see his lips inside. You can see his eyes.
Yeah,
so that's really nice detail to sort of keep those in there.
Yeah. Super clean as well, isn't it? Super
clean. Where's the head come off here?
It comes off from the neck, so the whole thing. That comes off, and you can have a look there.
Yeah, but better. Yeah, so I mean, they're really well done. The eyes are really well done. The mouth, really well done. Really, decent head. Not bad at all. And I like these things.
There is the.
It's quite light though, isn't it? For a
it's not heavy. No, they're not.
For
that's even lighter. I think this might. This. I mean, feel that. That's one of the lightest production heads
for
XM out. But I don't know if they may have used a different material on the skin because it's alarmingly lifelike.
He's almost gold, isn't he? But
yeah, but he is. He's quite chiseled. His face is quite chiseled. But I mean, I love this portrait. I really do. I really think it adds a lot to the piece.
Why? So just going back down, I like these things. These kind of piston. Why are they like?
I don't know. Them discs things.
Yeah.
I always think it's going to turn into a little bit of Tron. Pull that shit out and throw it at someone.
Some discs. Yeah. But no, the head's done really well. I mean, I was just looking at it in my hand there. I mean, he almost looks a bit drawn out though. I know he's. Well, it depends on which part of the series you look at. He's a bit of an alcoholic at times, so it could be to do with that. He's not getting enough sleep, but I think the head's done really well.
It's a really great unmasked, that one. I'm really pleased with that. And I was quite lucky because...
I reckon if I have a shave, do some running, I could pull that off.
Yeah, I think you will.
Got to do the running though.
There has been some critiques that say he looks overly Asian, but I completely disagree. I've read a lot of Iron Man comics, and this is as close to spot on as you're going to get. That is exactly what he looks like.
Yeah,
exactly what he looks like. That is spot on, and the way that they've done the facial hair and the beard is really decent. I don't know how they've done it, but they've made it look really, really nice. It doesn't look overly, like the Strange that you have.
Yeah,
I think they've come on leaps and bounds with their facial hair on that. Really,
and facial hair kind of like fades off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
From this part here, it kind of fades up.
Yeah.
It's
really nice how they've done that.
But you got as I say, the tones like around the eyes. And the kind of nose here, and then on the cheeks, it's done really. It is done well there. It just doesn't have him like kind of like perfect, perfect looking, and he's got some adds some character to it.
Definitely looks like definitely a bit of a hard.
A bit of a late night.
Yeah, like you. The thing is as well, like I did watch a review, and one of the people I watch his reviews, I can't pronounce his name's like N Chant something. Anyway, his one, he had a bit of a gap on his Ultron head to the hand. And I've been quite... luckily, actually, Mohammed, all of a few people that I know I've got from him, he was... Whatever batches or whatever, his were okay. I mean, that's the only... That was the worst one I'd seen. The poor guy had the worst one. But this, I mean, my one, on both torsos as well, if it was any tighter, it'd be scratching the bloody head.
Yeah.
Because both, like, all the fingers are touching the torso itself, touching the helmet. Which I'm really pleased about. So I came out lucky. I did really well. I think the majority.
Were you close to cancelling this at one point?
Not the Iron Man. I was the closest I came. You've said this to most of the reviews we did today.
No, because you were close to cancelling the.
Better Ray Bill was the closest after seeing production pictures.
But then you were close. You didn't go to collect Mysterio, but you got Mysterio. But this one you were close to cancelling at one point, I think.
No.
Well, you were.
No, not the Iron Man. I was closest with Better Ray Bill, and I was considering Electro just because I was worried about where I'd put it more than anything else. But then you told me about Electro. You said not to, which was the right call. Was the right call. What do you think, man?
I like it. I do. The only things I don't like as much. I'm not really a fan of the colours as such. I think the colours could be a bit better for me personally, but it's a preference thing. I'm not really a fan of the drone colours. I think they are a bit dull, and I think they could be not chrome, but just a bit more to them. I think the gold could be better. I don't really like the gold. The reds, there's nothing wrong with the red at all. I think the gold could maybe be a bit more gold because it's a bit kind of like more like a champagne colour at the moment. But again, it's a preference thing. It's just something that, to me, I mean, I have the which one do I have?
Mark 6.
Mark 6. I've got the Mark 6. I can never remember that. I have the Mark 6, and the colours on that I really, really like. And I mean, it's a movie version, but
the golds on that are really nice.
Yeah.
But it's a movie gold, isn't it? It's like a darker. It's like almost a.
Yeah.
It's a proper gold, isn't it?
But I do think that they go for the classic look, and but again, I mean, and also for me, I mean, going around it and the kind of the lines from where the leg on there, and it kind of goes into the rock, and there's a bit of a gap. I mean, you would either have it so that the rock is there and it's kind of resting more on the rock. Why would it be kind of embedded in the rocks as such? Do you know, or if it was crumbled into the rock.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's a bit of a clean line, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a very clean line.
It's a bit too clean where it joins on, and I think you should maybe have some kind of more metal.
I mean, like the way this is done. You mean like that? That's the way it should be done, yeah?
And like where you got like here, where you have the kind of
mechanics,
the
pistons
going over it.
Yeah, I got it.
I just think that part there is a bit, I mean, you won't see it anyway.
Ever.
Position.
No, unfortunately, this part of it is the part you're never going to see. But it's a clean line. It's like a 90-degree line. It's a 90-degree angle line, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
And then I guess as well with the cables over here, there's no wires coming out of those. So you've got all these kind of wires that are really clean here.
It sort of stops.
I know they're fully sculpted, but you just don't have any of the I don't know what the copper coming out of that.
It just shows you with XM that your standards just get so high. I mean, you would never say this if this was another company piece. I'm not saying any names, but if it was, you wouldn't be saying anything like this because you wouldn't expect it. You expect it with XM. That's the thing.
I mean, we do it in a way where
it's true though.
This is your piece, and it's not my piece, so I'm not invested. And whenever I bring out a piece, George always slates it to fuck. So I have to try and find the flaws of it. So that's what I'm doing here today. But I mean, overall as a piece, I mean, it's a really nice piece. It looks impressive, and it's got presence. It's a great piece, and as I say, they've done a really, really good job on the unmasked portrait. Even the masked portrait's done really well. And I think out of all we've done about 5 reviews today which had unmasked portraits, and every single time I've said, that's a great portrait, but it's going to stay in the box.
You'll never use it,
I think this one will get used.
Yeah, I agree.
I honestly think that one will be a switch out that would get switched out and used on a regular basis.
I agree with you. Well, I would because I'm going to use it. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's I still think the Mark 7 is king.
Yeah,
that's
I
my
like
opinion.
I mean, again with the Mark 7,
it's not flawless, but I mean, the hand bits could be done better. It could have a light up. It could have an unmasked portrait. You can argue all of these things.
Yeah, with the Mark 7, I mean, there's the argument people say it's too clean. It's too polished. It's like it's like he's in a car showroom and he's trying to sell his suit. Where do you draw the line? Because when XM do battle damage, people complain. When you do it clean, there's always saying that's what.
No, I'm asking. What do you feel battle damaged, but majority clean? I don't know if it's possible.
Well, there's only ways where you would change out plates. So you would take off a 5 plate and make it into a damaged 5 plate. That's the only kind of way you would do it to keep everyone happy.
That really is.
I know
that is so catering.
But that's like that's literally like fucking hot toy level.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just saying that's how you would get around it.
Yeah, it is a way. It's a good
there's
point.
always going to be,
I think personally,
10 people will say they don't like it.
I think
and 10 people say they will. So
I think if you want a clean Iron Man, the Mark 7s, I mean, the lines on. I mean, we were lucky with the one we saw that it was pretty flawless. There was just
the reactor.
Huh?
The reactor was cloudy or something.
But I mean, to be honest, I mean, you people can argue that you could always. I mean, they added a light up. It's an easy switch out. That's great.
They've done a really good job with the way way that they've done that light up. Because one of the concerns, definitely George has. One of the concerns is always when you have, say, the hands lighting up. What would happen is then you would have. You have a switch on the base.
Yeah.
So you would need the wire going all the way through the piece to get to the chest.
Exactly.
All the way through to get to the hands.
Yeah.
And then all the way through to get to
hollowed out piece.
So you'd have that hollowed out. But now on the newer pieces, you are getting that where say if this arm was to light up, you would take it off. There'll be a switch under the shoulder inside,
or even at the wrist,
or even
take the
or
hand
even
off
take the
and then
hand,
click your finger and put it back on.
And
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because then you have a little bit of a lighter hand or whatever,
Yeah.
but you don't have this
Well,
hollowed out piece.
it's also to do with damage control. I mean, if you then get a person saying,
my arm doesn't light up.
my chest, please don't light up, you have to send them a whole figure or a whole
Yeah,
torso.
exactly.
Now you just take out that piece and send them that. So it works.
See, when they first did the two torso things, I was thinking what they're going to do is one will light up and one won't. And they've got round that even better by giving you the two torsos and the two different things. So you can have the light up anyway.
Strange, they gave you two lights.
Yeah.
They gave you a spare light with Doctor Strange. So
I mean, I checked everything out. Everything was working great. I mean, for me, it's the only Iron Man for me because it was going to be this or the combi kit because it had to be a classic. But there are loads of choices and there's loads of good Iron Mans out there. There is a few good pieces. You know, the Mark 7, the Mark 6. You know, and that Mark 3 looked good. No, you're happy with that?
Mark 3 looks really good. The Mark 3 is very nice. Sideshow have done a really good job on that. So, you know,
hopefully production matches prototype, which is where these Iron
carpet.
You know, it has to be because these Iron Mans never do. So unfortunately for Sideshow, they have never matched their prototype at production level.
Well, Mark 6 was good. Mark 1 was good.
They had the jaw thing with the Mark 6. That weren't. They
had
had loads of the chin thing. Yeah.
But I mean, the Mark 1 came out really well.
The Mark 1's a great piece, but again, it's not a colourful piece,
Man,
is it? It's a busted up, so you can get. It's the same problem, isn't it?
War Machine.
The first one, the maquette.
Or even the second one, James had.
Yeah, his one looked good though, but I've seen loads of bad ones.
Well, his one looked great.
His one did look good actually. His James one looked good.
Take my shot.
This will go on for all day, man. Jesus. All right, so let's.
I think the Mark 2 could have been really good, but again.
All right, so this is 21.5 inches. That is 55 centimeters clearance. I will say, just say you want to do head on. Let's say that is the depth of it. You know, and to the back of the base, you are looking at around about 15.5, 16 inches in depth. Yeah. And then width wise,
it goes nicely into a detoff, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It fits. Just
go for his leg. Go for his leg. Don't be shy. You've already bought him a drink.
All right, got it. So that's around about 12 inches in width. If you do it that way, obviously, then you change that, and that's now your width, and then you have your depth is the other way around. So potato, in it.
Okay.
Right.
Don't be shy. Come and lift him up. You're right.
Yeah.
It's just got those pads, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really got a grippy sort of underneath, so you've got to be careful with it.
What are you guessing?
I don't know, probably about 8 kilos, 9 kilos, 8.5 kilos.
Did you look?
No idea.
8.45 kilos?
Yeah, baby!
I mean,
that's
out of the probably 200 reviews we've done, and the 50 we've done with scales.
That's close, isn't it?
Odds are you have to get it right at some point.
Yeah.
So 8.45 kilos, and that's
18.6
pounds. So I mean, it's good weight for him because I mean he's only
20 to 1.5 inches.
Smallish figure, no.
Yeah.
You know, the base, the footprint isn't too great, so it's a good weight for that size. And again, I mean, it's easy to display, and you know, overall, I mean, I'm just pointing out little pieces which you know could be better, but overall, I mean, you know, it's just me being really fussy and just trying to find like flaws where there probably sometimes aren't flaws. But, yeah.
I think, I mean, to be honest with you, I think Alex give this one a good. I think he gave it a good going over. But to be honest with you, he has the Mark 6, and that's a nice Iron Man too. You know, that's a nice Iron Man. There's a lot of good pieces you can't really go wrong with. But I think if you're after a comic book one, this is the one to own.
Yeah, no, I definitely like it. I would buy it if it came up. So I'll get it. If I got a trade or an offer for that, I'll definitely go for it. So I can't.
What would you would you keep your Mark 6?
Well, I mean, my Mark 6 was almost got the chop at one point, but that's another story. But anyway,
Tale for another time. What about the Mark 7?
I do like the Mark 7.
Yeah.
I actually, I mean, if I had the choice of having one Iron Man in my collection that was quarter scale, I'd probably go with the Mark 7, to be honest with you.
It's a fair shout. It's definitely a fair shout, especially as a borderline movie collector.
But the thing about the Mark 7 is you've got the two poses, and the two poses have really changed the piece.
It does change it, because the base actually turns as well on its side. So there's two displays on the base, which is Anyway, thanks for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let us know if you got this piece, and let us know where you think it rates in Iron Man. Let's have some fun with it. Give me your top 3. What would you say if you had the money, the investment? You'd have 3 Iron Mans in your collection. For me, I'd
just
go
in quarter scale, otherwise it gets a bit.
Yeah, just in quarter scale if you want. But I would say the classic XM. I'd say the Mark 7, and I'd probably say the Mark 6 as well. I kind of like that. They'd be my 3. I kind of like the Mark 6 myself too, even though it's got the triangular chest and things like that, which just like
movie.
Yeah,
it's in the
shit though, isn't it? Anyway, much love. See you later. Peace.
Bye bye. Straight to the point.
Yeah, no frills.
That's the motto of my life.
Touching my shit.
There's no fluff on it.